Last week we did a video talking about the problems with cut charger cables and suggested some potential solutions and asked you folks to suggest some more. And boy did we get some better than others, and some that are fantastic or seem like it on paper until you get into the physics of what a charging cable is, which is difficult. So joining me this week is Mark, because who better to talk about it than the guy who was there the first time. Let's have a quick gander at some of those comments. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Haza. So Mark, you saw the many comments.
Yes, some comedic, some helpful. So
Yes.
yeah, we
Well,
asked the viewers for their help, and they showed up in spades.
they did, and not only all of them were sincere. I mean, sincere or funny. Nobody was just there to be mean, which I thought was helpful.
Yeah.
And unique, considering this is the internet. So we've got the first one. 120 decibel burglar alarm may aid the problem, which apparently I gave a like to. That. So first of all, humane and possibly effective. Tesla's security system is very, very loud and obnoxious on purpose. So that's not a bad one. What do you think?
I think I don't know what 120 decibels sounds like. Is that eardrum splitting, or is that just
That is
rock concert
absolutely.
loud?
That's like air. That's like jet engine next to your head loud.
Yeah,
Let me check.
that might be a problem for people. Even if they are thieves, it's almost like it's a surprise eardrum blowout, which probably you'd be sued over.
So it's not quite that loud. It is the limit at which it is painful. So it is right at the edge. This comment is more sincere than I realize. It's not bad. So let's go to the next one we got here. Let's see if this one's better. I like it. Optimus patrolling the area.
Exactly.
Uh,
That would scare people
now,
away for sure.
unfortunately, that's a longer term solution and a very expensive one, considering the number of chargers that exist. The real problem is you've got to balance, there are a lot of businesses that don't even have a password on their Wi-Fi because they get so few interlopers. I don't know if that's the correct word in this context, but they get so few, I guess, moochers that it doesn't make sense. The added hassle to legit customers isn't worth it. And 99% of these charger locations will never have a problem with this. And so how do you justify it? Do you just move the crime to the next charger down? So let's go to the next one, I guess. I love the idea of Optimus. It just seems a little pricey. Much more effective than a camera would be a Siren. $15 per handle for new installs. You only have to add a tiny wire to the cable, and when that circuit is cut, a siren, maybe a light could be triggered, cheaper and more of a deterrent than cameras. Now, I actually have a slightly cheaper solution, which is the cable's already, if you cut one, Tesla already knows that it's been cut. So make it feedback loop from there. You've already got something that can sense that. Maybe it's an idea. What do you think?
I think this is a great option. Being some sort of a flashing light and a loud siren to focus people's attention is enough to scare some crooks away. Not all, but some. And of
Not
course,
all.
depending on the time of day, you might have less people seeing or understanding what's going on.
It's high noon. A light turns on. Thank you. I don't. And yeah, worth noting that some of the suggestions are better than others, but let's go to this one here. The Elon said it himself. The best part is no part. Use wireless. You park over the spot, charge, and you drive away. No exposed cable, nothing to steal. Can you see a problem with this approach?
Cost and speed is going to be the first two things that come to mind for a wireless charging solution.
There are obstacles imposed not by engineering but by physics. So the first problem is this only would work on new installs, not on existing chargers. So that leaves hundreds of thousands of chargers around the world exposed. It would require all new hardware in the car, all new hardware in the ground, and really the distance between the induction plate and the reception plate are critical. The closer you can get it, the better it is. If you add moving parts, it becomes very expensive and failure prone in a hurry. So that one, unfortunately, we have to wait to see a demo of a real world application of that kind of charging that would actually work. In Michigan, I saw a stretch of roadway where they have embedded induction charging on the highway. It is a mile long, which means you can get a good 1 minute of level 2 charging if your car is appropriately equipped.
Doesn't seem worth it, does it?
You will not get the amount of charge it took you to drive over it for a mile of copper buried in the road.
Yeah, that's going to be pricey.
If a solution is out there, we'll find it within a few years, I imagine. But for now, that is not, in my opinion, the right one. So let's jump it over here. On what to do, given that Tesla knows immediately when it's cut, they could trigger the alarm, loud sirens, all that. And then, in-ground wireless. So this is more of the same thing. Let's look at this one. Keeping a close eye on recyclers. Build AirTags into the cable so you can easily track the thieves down. Build dye packs. So if they cut them, it sprays all over. I'd be worried about a potential failure with the spray or with maintenance or, just any failure at all. And then your customer's covered in purple ink. I'm not convinced that's a good one, but all these solutions would require a lot of retrofitting and forward thinking. What do you think?
What about that option of putting some sort of an AirTag, embedding it in the actual hardware of the cable? I realize the police are not going to chase down cable, like just one cable that's been stolen. But if the thieves knew that some of these cables had AirTags in them, maybe that would get them to at least move elsewhere.
I agree. And it does seem like a cost-effective solution. And you could even, you ever seen fake security cameras for sale? I've seen some great ones that have a little solar panel on top, and when it's got enough charge, it goes slowly back and forth and a little red light blinks. You have no way of knowing it's real or not. You could also just announce that we're going to start retrofitting them with AirTags and hope that the bad guys hear about it.
Yeah.
Now, this is one I heard quite a bit. Retractable cables that only pull out when activated. Do you know what there's a couple obstacles to that. What comes to mind when you hear that?
Cost and operation to be used in different weather conditions. And of course, the ongoing use of being pulled out, put back in, maintenance is going to be required.
So when you're dealing with expensive video or audio cables, you try to bend them as few times as possible because copper wears out. That's why Tesla only has a single large loop in their big cables, is because anytime you bend them, you induce new stress, and eventually that's going to be the point of failure. So you want to limit how many times you do that. The other is if it's locked in a cabinet, you've introduced a whole lot of new mechanics, a whole lot of new potential points of failure, and people will pull up. And now they've got to fiddle with the lock and hope the lock works and hope it's not broken inside or some of that. And then what does it swing out? Does it hit your bumper and scratch your paint? I'm not sure how that part works. But again, all of these solutions, except for the sirens or the AirTags, cost vastly more than replacing the stolen cables. And really, you do have to crack down on the recyclers. But is it recyclers? Because there's so little copper here. We're talking a few pounds per handle. Copper recycling price, because it used to be quite high, and now it's $2 a pound. That's not good. So they're stealing the whole station, $15. I'm wondering if this isn't recyclers, but but vandals, but EV haters, because none of it makes sense. That's not enough money
But
for the crime.
if it was vandals, they just cut the cable and let it sit there. They wouldn't even pick it up. Well, vandals would just snip it.
That's a very good point. Why would you want to have all the evidence of your crime? That's a very good point, Mark. You see, sometimes Mark makes me smarter, which is why I like to hang out with him. And because he laughs at my jokes, which is great. Some of you guys do that too. I was at an event. We were getting ready for the event. It was the day before, and a bunch of us were over at the organizer's house, and we are all putting stuff in bags and getting everything ready. And wife of Dirty Tesla was there, and she's laughing. And Chris was there, Dirty Tesla himself. He's laughing, and I say to them, "You guys forget that I'm funny." They're used to dealing with engineers who, some of them can be quite funny, but on YouTube I haven't found very many. So, yeah. So what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it all in the comments of a video over on the Tesla Life. That would be hilarious. Show up in the live stream on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. Is that right? Did I get it right? And in the comments, let me know what I missed in this video. That would be just a treat. Don't tell Patrick or Casey what's going on. Mark will have to explain it.
Yeah.
It'll be good fun.
That'll be fun.
So, yeah. So, guys, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. One of these days, I'll be back in my regular studio. I'm not even sure if it's going to be for next week's shoot because I've got a lot of miles to get through before I get home. I still have to deliver the 4680 battery that Sandy Monroe gave to Jordan Giesecke to give to the lab in San Diego. And then I've got to make my way all the way up the coast. Oh, what am I doing, Mark? What am I doing? So thank you guys for your support, for making me capable of doing these ridiculous things. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots in San Diego. I don't know.